Mesopotamia, southern Iraq. Tradition has it that this was the Garden of Eden. Tomorrow, it could be paradise lost. Orangutans in Indonesia's forests, their survival hangs in the balance. A nature reserve in Germany. Not long ago, storks were stilting among grazing cattle, larks were singing, and frogs were jumping. This is a story of unique landscapes, rare species, and of humans living in harmony with nature. Today they're all endangered, not by climate change, but by alleged climate conservation. It's a journey to the dubious sources of so-called green energy. What's happening in the name of climate conservation and green economy is really a rampage against the natural world, a slap in the face of ecological reason. Cancun, Mexico, a holiday hotspot. But in the winter of 2010, many visitors are not here for the beaches. They've come for the UN Climate Change Convention. Thousands of delegates are debating one of the most pressing issues of our day, climate conservation. What's at stake is the future of our suffocating planet. One of them is Ulrich Eichelmann. For years, he's been working for the protection of nature and endangered species. Together with environmental organizations, he's been pushing for action to stop global warming. But lately, he can't help thinking that there's something going wrong with climate conservation. So he came to get a personal view.
Thank you, Madam President. Distinguished.
Under the auspices of the United Nations, politicians, scientists, corporate representatives, and NGOs negotiate our planet's destiny. In spite of many differences, there's one shared idea.
We're selling a river over here. We have islands over here. Buying time.
To stop global warming, renewable energies should be massively promoted. Future energies should be clean, sustainable, and green. They should drive a global change towards a green economy.
Come and make the right choice for a green, clean future, not a future of environmental destruction, of climate devastation. That's the choice in front of you.
Sounds reasonable, but is it really? If we continue on this apparently green path, where will it lead us? Hydropower is one of the pillars of the propagated change. Some 50,000 big hydroelectric dams already exist across the globe. The damage they cause to nature and humans has drawn a lot of protest, so that during the 90s, only few additional dams were built. But now, dam proliferation is booming.
I think that climate change is helping the hydropower energy because it's a clean source of energy and the technology is well known.
Brazil is represented too. The country is a leader in promoting hydropower.
So there's still a very big potential in the country, which is located in the Amazon. And the other thing we came here for is to show that the electricity sector is not destroying the Amazon. We have some plants there, and the plants that have been already made and the plants planned are going to take only less than 1% of the whole Amazon.
Brazil is planning to dam up its rivers in the Amazon basin. The government's promotion videos give the impression that these power stations are in harmony with nature and climate conservation and are no threat to wildlife and natural vegetation. But is that so? The Amazon rainforest, the planet's vastest natural forest, drained by the planet's vastest network of rivers. This is the world's green lung. Its Its biodiversity is without par. The Amazon boasts more than half of all the planet's plant and animal species. Woodland and rivers have always sustained the local people, including the 2 million inhabitants of Manaus on the Rio Negro. Day by day, enormous amounts of fish are processed and sold, and consumers can choose from a wide range of species. This bounty is the gift of a nearly intact natural environment. Most of the Amazon's tributaries can be called intact. Take the Xingu, 900 kilometers downstream from Manaus. In the rainy season, this river's flow is greater than that of the Mississippi. All of Europe's rivers combined do not have as many species of fish. One unique feature is the Volta Grande, a 100-kilometer loop in the river's course with thousands of islands and cataracts. This is one of the Amazon's great natural wonders. And it's also where the world's third-largest dam is projected, the Belo Monte Dam. It requires the Xingu's course to be diverted to fill a reservoir as big as Lake Constance. The Volta Grande would practically fall dry. The consequences for humans and wildlife would be disastrous. Some 100 fish species would be threatened with extinction. More than 20,000 people would have to be dislocated, including the Xikrin Kayapo tribesmen whose livelihood depends on the river. One of them describes their situation. I am Arikafu, he says. This is my family. We are indigenous, born and raised here. The Indios don't want the dam, he says. It will destroy all they have. Plants, fish, the river, the forest, their medical herbs, everything, even their homes. Many things would happen to the Indios' disadvantage. We want to live in nature, he says, as it is now, forever. If the dam is built, there will be a conflict and a war. All the neighbors and relatives will get together. Many villages and tribes will oppose this.
Other bits of the river so that they can have enough.
The Indios have already stopped a dam project on the Xingu twice. Their protest during a promotional event of the powerful Electrobras Corporation hit the news. They attacked the company's spokesman. He got away with a shock.
To say what you're saying is lies. None of this is important. We don't want dams, and that's what you've got to understand. She was still ranting away, and the press, they just went mad and started lunging forward. There was a confusion of knives and sticks and cameras, and in that whole confusion, the man from the industry company fell off his chair backwards, and then for somewhere down the line, he got cut by one of the knives.
Even back then, the Indios, in their opposition against the destruction, were supported by Austrian-born Bishop Erwin Kreutler, and he's still supporting them. For his engagement, he was awarded the Alternative Nobel Prize in 2011. How can we drive these people into desperation, the bishop wonders, and just say, get out of here? Whatever compensation they're promised, they'll never get it. In 2010, the indigenous tribes of the region spoke up once again. They're afraid of the dam projects and the accompanying exploitation of the forest. If they lose the river and the forest, they lose their livelihood. Is this the price for climate conservation and a green economy?
Das ist eben genau das Gegenteil. Der Xingu geht ja zugrunde.
According to Bishop Kreutler, it's the very opposite.
Im Gegenteil, man
The
zerstört.
Xingu River will die.
Ich weiß nicht,
Nothing will be saved, a lot destroyed.
Diese Logik verstehe ich nicht.
He can see no logic in building dams for climate conservation when thousands of square kilometers of tropical rainforest are destroyed with an impact on the climate.
Kilometer tropischer Regenwald werden zerstört werden. Und das hat doch einen Einfluss auf das Klima.
Bishop Kreutler knows what he is talking about. A few decades ago, the Balbina power station was built near Manaus to produce clean electricity. Sounds perfect, but the reality is this. "230,000 hectares of primeval forest have been flooded. Millions of trees are now rotting in the reservoir. A depressing sight. But what you don't see is even worse. Underwater, methane is produced, which is more damaging to the atmosphere than carbon dioxide. Balbina is like a gigantic exhaust, producing 20 times more climate damage than a coal-fueled power station with the same electricity output. Back at the Cancun Climate Conference, Brazil's government is showing off the country's impressive biodiversity. Climate change is threatening this, they say. So renewable energies should be promoted. One example they are quoting is the giant South American turtle, a species to which the Xingu is of special relevance. It's September, the dry season. The islands are breeding grounds of black skimmers and various terns. At dusk, this is the stage of a unique natural spectacle. Female river turtles are waiting for their cue. At nightfall, the beaches come alive. One after another, the turtles leave the water. These islands represent one of the major turtle nesting sites on the planet. Some 30,000 females come here to lay their eggs in the sand. As soon as one group is done, the next one moves up. On some islands, there are so many that the turtles are still laying eggs at dawn. In a single season, 1.8 million eggs are buried in the sand. Black vultures are hoping to harvest some of them. But it's not the vultures that pose a threat to these turtles. The threat is hydropower, even though the islands are way below the projected dam. The Belo Monte Dam will hold back the sand, so the islands will no longer be replenished. They will disappear, and with them, turtles and birds. Belo Monte is just the beginning. There are plans for power projects on almost every river of the Amazon basin, more than 60 megadams and hundreds of medium-sized ones. Janssen Suenon, one of Brazil's leading fish experts, warns against the consequences for biodiversity.
If all these dams will be constructed, we will lost maybe 1,000 species of fish in the world region.
1,000 species. That's 10% of the entire planet's freshwater fish species.
So it's a very large loss of biodiversity. There is no turning back in this way. If you lost this species will last forever.
The electricity produced here will be of little use to the local people. It will serve industries, especially aluminium production. These factories destroy the rainforest and speed up global warming. Hydropower kicks off a vicious circle. If these dams are built, the biodiversity of the planet's green lung is history. The killer is climate conservation.
Da gibt's keine Amazonien mehr.
The Amazon will be gone, the bishop says. Even now, much of the Amazon rainforest has been cleared. Bishop Kreutler came here in 1965. Since then, he has seen vast areas irredeemably destroyed. He thinks that these dams will be the final blow. After that, all we can do is sing a requiem for the Amazon.
Da können wir nur noch das Requiem singen.
What the Amazon is to the planet's nature, Mesopotamia is to mankind's cultural heritage. The land between Euphrates and Tigris is seen as the cradle of Western civilization. No other region is as closely connected with our cultural history. Our journey through Mesopotamia starts in southeastern Turkey, in the upper Tigris Valley. The Tigris meanders through a breathtaking scenery with impenetrable canyons and traditionally farmed steppes. In spring, the plains turn into an ocean of flowers. This is where ancient tradition and modern progress clash. The jewel of the upper Tigris is flanked by steep cliffs. The city of Hasankeyf. Hasankeyf's foundations were laid millennia ago. In the course of time, the people have dug some 6,000 caves into the cliffs. Many were inhabited until the 1970s. Life here is simple, but the people are proud of their city. They make a living from agriculture, fishing, and tourism. Hasankeyf is known to almost every child in Turkey. Each year, some 100,000 visitors come to admire the ancient town. But now, after all these millennia, the days of Hasankeyf are counted. It survived